So there are tons of Vigor Farms within Lords of the Fallen, and today guys I bring you the best ones you can use. Whether you are a new player to the game or at the end game and need levels or currency, today I have you covered. How's it going guys? My name's DPJ, and if you do enjoy the video, leaving a like really helps out, and if you like what you see and want to see more, be sure to subscribe. So we will look at many Vigor farms today, but we will start with the best. So the best farms in this game consist right now of you trapping the Red Reaper within the Umbral realm. So you can go ahead and farm with that minimum of a 3 times multiplayer on those Vigor gains. And there are spots all over this game guys that this can be done. But today I will show you what in my opinion are the best and easiest ones you can do and use. Okay, so great early game spot I haven't seen anyone else cover takes place from the Vestige of Ferres the Charred. This is one of the first vestiges you can come to after the Bellroom vestige of Blind Agatha, depending on the path you take. So from this vestige guys, you simply want to go into that Umbral realm, then make your way back towards that lift you would have used to get up here initially. Here guys, you just want to wait around until that Red Reaper eyeball indicator is almost full. I'd say at about 90 to 95%, you then now want to take this lift down. If you time this right, the Red Reaper will spawn up top and stay here. This means you are free to roam below and have an infinite amount of enemies spawn in, as well as all easier enemies to take out and earn those extra Vigor gains on. Now what I will say is, upon you taking this lift down, the hardest hitting enemies await below in the form of a knight and 2 crossbowmen. I mean, these for me ain't too hard to take out, but again, if you're a newcomer to this game, they may be pretty difficult for you. So what I suggest you guys do is, before you set up this glitch, before you set up this exploit, simply go down the lift and take these enemies out first, then go up and initiate the process of trapping that Red Reaper. Then guys, you can just come to the bottom. There'll be no enemies here for you to worry about, and you can actually just stay in this smaller area if you want to and take out enemies that spawn in that Umbral realm, because they do constantly spawn in, or you can just free roam this entire area. As long as you don't go back up top, you should be safe here. So yes guys, this is a great one you can use real early game. Another great farm in the form of you trapping the Red Reaper takes place in the Fitzroy Gorge area. This one I would say is about that mid-game mark though, so not everyone playing it will have access to this point. Now if you haven't already been to this spot, you will have to take out a boss. It is an easy boss fight, I won't lie. But from the vestige of the Pale Butcher, trek as I do on screen now. If you have a seed, plant this anchor. It may help you out if you do lose your life. So when you first get to this point right here guys, this is where that boss fight will happen, and you have to take him out to do this farm. So once you are done with this boss fight, it's simple. Take the lift up. At the top guys, then enter that Umbral realm. Wait for that red eyeball to almost turn full red, again at about that 95% mark, then take the lift down. This again, if done right and timed right, it traps the Red Reaper up top, meaning you can just farm below and the entire Fitzroy area with that minimum of a 3 times gains on that Vigor. So it's pretty cool. Now another way you can use this exact spot in this area is if you take the lift up and trap the Reaper down below. This one is a little harder to time right, but it can be done. This means you get to farm enemies up top within pilgrims, which are much easier enemies to take on. Okay, so next up guys, we trap the Red Reaper, but this one doesn't consist of any elevators. Although it's a lot trickier to pull off, once you do it's amazing, and it takes place at that Bellroom Vestige of Blind Agatha area too, so it's super early game. So from the Vestige of Blind Agatha, you need to enter the Umbral Realm. Do this by throwing yourself off the map and taking out any enemies that struggle here. Now from here guys, you want to climb up this ladder and then do as I do on screen now, you want to drop down onto this swinging bit of wood. From here guys, get as close to the center section of this as you possibly can. Then what you want to do is face your camera down. Upon the Red Reaper spawning in, 7 times out of 10 he gets trapped in a platform above you. Again, this one's harder to get right, but once you pull it off it is amazing. So once he's trapped, you need to carefully jump down. One wrong move here and it's over. But once you are down, you are now free to farm this entire area for that Vigor with those advanced gains on your XP earnings, taking on easy enemies to take down. So do what you gotta do with this one guys, it's a pretty cool spot. So next up guys, we have a farm which doesn't require any Red Reaper trapping, but it does require you to use your weapons. This one is a chill farm, I won't lie. It won't earn you as much as trapping a Red Reaper, but it can earn crazy amounts of XP and that Vigor, so do what you gotta do. So this one takes place within the Vestige of the Lost by Rescue. This one's definitely mid-game, but it is a real easy farm. So it's as simple as this. All you gotta do is guys, rest at a Vestige, then enter that Umbral Realm and just take out the multitude of enemies in this area and just keep resetting it again and again. Now depending on your loadout, build and what you use will determine how fast you can do this. For me it was taking anything from 1 minute to about 2 minutes, but each run I was getting over 4k Vigor. Now if you have means of area of effect damage, you can probably do this in half the time it takes me. So yes, a real chill farm if you want one. This one is definitely for you. Also the amount of schools that these enemies do drop is pretty good too. I mean obviously it all adds up in regards to that Vigor, so do what you gotta do here. The way I run this is I rest at the Vestige, I run up to the top platform and then pop into that Umbral Realm and knocking enemies back. I take out the 2 Umbral shields and then I just use my area of effect spells to take out the enemies and then pull off any stragglers. I then run down to the bottom, round them all up and do the same here. It is that simple. Then I run back and reset at the Vestige before I take out any stragglers. Reset, rinse, repeat. It is an easy farm guys, but like I said it's mid-game, so do what you gotta do with this one. Okay, so next up guys, we have a couple of Vigor farms which require no fighting at all. These are older ones, but they do still work pretty well, and these will also earn you great amounts of Vigor with no stress at all. First, the Bellroom Vestige of Blind Agatha. This is where you need to come to. Again, real early game, anyone can do this, and this one's quite simple. Run and throw yourself off the map. This means you run past a big spiky headed dude, he will chase you off the map. You will respawn, blast any other enemy up top off the map, collect that Vigor, run back to that Vestige, rest, then rinse and repeat this farm. It really is that simple guys, and it can earn you, depending on what you have on your build, great amounts of Vigor. Over 1k per run you do this, so pretty cool. There's another farm from the same Vestige of Blind Agatha, which is also easy to do. This one requires you to have a seed to plant that anchor though, so keep that in mind. So follow the path I take on screen now. So when you get here guys, you want to plant that seed. From this anchor guys, run up to this wall and burst into that umbral realm. What this does is it triggers explosions on the other side of this wall, which takes out all the enemies on the other side. All you then do is use your lantern, cipher that Vigor, and then simply rest at that seed, rinse and repeat. This will earn you a great amount of Vigor too, with no stress whatsoever. So to make these Vigor farms a little more efficient on yourself, depending on the ones you pick to use, there are a few things which can definitely help you out. If you try and trap the Red Reaper, it means, as you know, you won't be able to use those health potions. But there are other means you can do in order to help you with that health. Firstly, any form of the Briarstones work great, so select them into your quick access slots if you have them. Or guys, go out and get these rings. There are two which help you. We have the Queen Verena 2 ring, which slowly regens your health over time, but there is the Ring of Nourishment. This gives you your health back on enemy kill, which is a much better one to use if you plan on trapping the Red Reaper, as killing enemies earns you that Vigor, but at the same time now will give you back your health. Now in regards to increased Vigor gains, there are a few things you can do here. Firstly, the Moth ring. This will give you a 10% increase on those Vigor gains. It is a great addition. But there's more you can do. But what I will firstly state, these 3 rings, the Moth ring, the Ring of Nourishment, and the Queen Verena 2's ring, I'll show you the location to in a quick second. But guys, if you're at a stage of the game of being able to slot runes into your weapons, the Nilak rune is great for this. If a weapon which can hold this rune, not all can by the way, but if a weapon which can hold this rune is maxed out and you have collected all 3 rune tablets and handed them into Jolinda, you will be able to slot runes into your weapons, 3 at a max, again if that weapon is maxed out. Now this Nilak rune does decrease physical damage, but if you put the weapon with these runes on it in your offhand, and then just to hand your main weapon, you shouldn't really feel much of a difference in regards to your damage output. Now the Nilak runes are super rare. They're a rare drop from the Mimic Moths. Now these are a one-time spawn as far as I'm aware. This means if you kill one of them by soul flaying them, they won't reappear. So here I suggest you ignoring them until you have grabbed your first rune tablet and handed it in. Otherwise you're wasting your chances of getting these runes, as runes won't drop until that point. And you can always come back to these Mimic Moths. Also guys, to up your chances, use those Lucky Paws and Charmed Paws, because again these Nilak runes are super rare. But yes guys, this Vigor farm is absolutely amazing, plus because the area is an easy zone, you shouldn't be at too much of a risk. Now what I will say is you will need a decent weapon, and to be decent with it, being able to use it properly, otherwise it's a waste of your time, because you'll just end up getting slaughtered. You still have to kill enemies to earn that Vigor, but the gains are unreal. On screen now guys are the location of said items that will make this more efficient on yourself in regards to those rings. Guys, if you did enjoy the video, leaving a like really helps out. If you like what you see and want to see more, be sure to subscribe, and hopefully guys, I'll see you on that next one.